This is a Glassbox Media podcast.
First and foremost, though, guys, can we talk about what happened the other night?
I think we have to.
Oh, I didn't know we were recording already. Okay, great. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so
no big deal.
No big deal.
Yeah.
Like, you invited us for a girls' night.
Well, actually, I think it was Amy's idea.
Was it?
No, it
Yes.
was mine.
It was
Was
yours.
It
yeah.
was mine because
We were like, well, let's get together because Mackenzie's going out of town.
I was
Mackenzie and Amy are other friends.
Sorry, hold on.
Yeah.
White
White Claw
Claw.
ready.
Club. Okay, they should sponsor us. Anyway.
Yeah, they should.
I was very casually, like a couple of weeks ago, like, sometime when we're all still in town before my friend Mackenzie goes out of town, we should have a girls' night because I know it's really hard to have a girls' night with everyone. I almost did it
Right.
that night that you came over, but I was like, Cassie's out of town.
Right.
So I can't do it. So I was like, we need to wait until all of my girls are in town. And I had
Thank
been
you for
secretly,
waiting for me this
Of
time.
course. I was like, Cassie will literally,
Literally
die.
Are you? I would have. Oh,
I know.
my God.
You
Yeah.
would have died
Yeah.
if I had done this without you there. So I was like, we have to wait until all the girls are in town. And, you know, after I got engaged, pretty much the first thing I did was go buy bridesmaids presents. So
I can't even believe it.
I'm literally
So,
got goosebumps
okay,
again.
so we had affixed the time of 6:30 to all get together.
Yes.
Which, of course, meant Cassie and I were there at 6:20.
Yeah.
And,
and
our friends
Mackenzie
Amy and Mac
Amy
were there at 8:30.
Yeah.
And I was
Typical.
like, Mackenzie, I understood because for some reason
amazing.
my phone's a piece of garbage and we weren't getting each other's text messages. So she missed the time and I'm like, I get that. But Amy, I'm like, Amy, you can't act surprised.
Right.
You responded to
Yay.
me being like 6:30 with yay exclamation point.
Yeah.
So,
So
made a nail appointment for 6:15.
the fuck?
So I love her. I'm like, I've never met anyone more opposite than me in a sense of like time.
She's like, I'll
where I'm
get
just
there when
like-
I get there.
I'm like, right on,
The
bitch.
funny
That's
thing was
awesome.
is that I didn't even think about it during the time, but Keegan's like,
I'm crawling
kept
out of my
making-
skin.
Keegan kept making like a big deal about it. Like, where are the girls at? Where are they at? Where are they coming? I
I'm
thought they
like-
said they were coming. What the hell? What's going on? And I'm like, and I
they'll
didn't
be
really think
there.
about it. I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, I didn't think anything of it about her making a big deal about it because I'm
Right.
like, we always kind of do, like as a joke. Like, of course they're fucking late. You
Yeah.
know?
Well, and also low key, it is something because I'm always on time.
Yeah.
Right.
Or like a little bit early to things where if I'm not, you better believe you're getting 5 text messages
Right.
that are like,
I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry, I'm running late, I'll be there 10 minutes behind or whatever.
Yeah.
So it is something that I'm always like, I can't believe you are so late to
Yeah.
this thing. Like
So, yeah.
always. But specifically because I was waiting and I was concerned because I had your gifts underneath my tree and my cats had already like attacked the string and untied them at one point in the evening. So I was just like, they need to get here so that we can open these. I'd also put all of your little mini rosés in the fridge. They were cold and I'm like, they're not going to be cold anymore. You know?
Yeah. Oh my God. And so like we finally like are all around the table and Keegan goes under the tree and gets these big boxes for everyone.
And we're like, we didn't
And
get anything.
I am immediately like a little peeved because I'm like, I don't have anything, which is literally the most
worst
like
feeling.
the worst feeling.
My coworker
a
did that to me
Midwestern.
yesterday.
Oh, it's the worst when I'm like, I don't want to be beholden to anybody.
We
Yeah.
already said we weren't exchanging gifts.
What happened, you liar?
And so I didn't even get it. We open them. They all have our names on them. They're the cutest boxes. They're all the same boxes. We open them. Mackenzie screams.
I'm spilled her wine everywhere.
Yeah,
I'm not even like, I see like rosé and a champagne glass, and I'm still thinking, this bitch got me a really touching Christmas gift.
Yeah.
I didn't even get it, and I'm looking at the card, and it's not like registering to me. I'm like, that scream is like really intense. I'm like, it's a
Excessive.
great
Yeah, but
present.
excessive.
But I saw Bridesmaid and I was like, immediately my tears, like
Cassie was sobbing.
Immediately.
I'm really mad at myself because, like I said, my phone is a piece of shit. And when I take video now, it doesn't capture the audio. So I didn't take a video and I was just taking pictures. And I'm like, I really wish I'd like made Anthony leave his phone so I could take video or something. You know what I mean?
Yes.
The video would have been nice to have. But
yeah.
So we all had cards in our boxes asking to be a bridesmaid in Keegan's upcoming nuptials, which was just so touching. And literally probably the most vaginal thing I've ever been a part of, which was amazing.
For sure.
Because then we spent the next couple hours like crying and talking about what we want to do for your
flowers.
Yes.
And
we did.
dress colors.
We were like,
We
and it
deep
was
dove.
ridiculous. I'm like,
And
oh my
I
God,
was
look at this one. Look
you
at
were
this
like,
one.
How are you
Look at
going to
this
wear your hair? How are you going to? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know, you guys. I haven't thought about it.
It's 2020. It's not until 2020.
And we're like, okay, we're ready.
Yeah,
The festivities actually start next weekend.
Yeah, Christina and I walk outside. She's like, we are like the Great Wall of fucking China in this bitch. Nothing
know.
gets past us. Everything is taken care of. We got this. She's, what did you say?
I'm
were?
Liam Neeson of this because I have a particular set of skills.
Yep. And I am the Hulk of this shit because I swear I wish you don't want to see me when I'm angry.
Oh God!
Right?
Listen, I do appreciate you guys for that because I'm kind of a pushover. So I'm like, between you guys and Amy and Mackenzie, I'm just like, oh God, I pity anyone who tries to screw us over on anything.
Oh, my
and
God.
also too, shout out to your friend who couldn't be here because she's from back home, Sienna.
Right, and I wanted to shout her out actually. So Sienna is my friend from back home. We've been friends since we were 11 years old.
Wow.
And
I can't wait to meet her.
I needed her to be in my bridal party, so I sent her a picture of her box with a big long text message asking her to be in my bridal party. So she's coming to visit next year. So I think so you'll get to meet her then.
Oh, good.
Hopefully
Amy
she's
already
coming
knows
in
her,
February. It'd be cool if she could come to the live show.
Oh, that'd be super cool.
That would be so cool.
Yeah. I don't think she can come till the summer, but yeah, I'm really excited.
Oh my God. We are so excited. Oh my God.
Absolutely. Obviously.
Yeah.
'Cause we spent the next like 3 hours then like literally planning your wedding.
I know.
So
I know.
true.
I was like, okay.
It was
Your
This
wedding,
sounds good.
your bridal party, your bachelorette party,
I'm like,
everything.
when can we go dress shopping? Right now? Okay, let's
right
go.
now. No, seriously,
let's
we're
go.
going right now.
I'm like, wait, you guys, I'm not ready.
Oh my gosh.
So funny.
Oh,
Well,
that's
thank
so
you
fun.
guys.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
It made me think, I want you to do your wedding the way that Nick Jonas and Priyanka are
Okay.
doing it, where it's
where I have
literally
10
like,
outfit changes.
yes, and 3 months. It's like a 3-month affair. I'm like, they're still getting married right now.
Yeah,
I'm sure they're
currently.
on another marriage.
Um,
know.
she's the most beautiful
Oy.
bride I've ever seen. She's
gorgeous.
so gorgeous. She had like a bunch of dresses. She had like the traditional like red dress because she's
Beautiful.
Indian, and then she also had a traditional like white wedding dress, and then she had a gold dress, and I was like, that dress.
I
is
just saw a
gorgeous.
navy blue one.
Oh man,
I mean,
crazy, crazy
Levels. I know.
Levels.
I'm like, I want like 7 weddings.
levels. That's a Nick Jonas song. You didn't even know it.
oh, is it?
Yes, it is.
Oh,
Yeah.
he was like, and this is what my wedding will be.
How appropriate.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I love it. I
Yeah.
actually love them. I really think they're cute, and I think
they're cute too.
Me
They
too.
seem
I
to
like
really
it.
love each other,
Yeah.
which is nice to see.
Yeah.
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 Well, how about the opposite end of that? How about splits? Can we talk about the Cardi B Offset shit?
Can I say that
Damn.
him interrupting her concert? Have you seen the video
No.
of that? He fucking interrupted her concert, spent like $15,000 on flowers that said "Cardi, take me back." Like embarrassed her.
You.
Embarrassed
Oh,
her
my
on stage
God.
in front of in the middle of her performance. I'm like,
Fuck you, dude.
I can't fucking even with
No.
that. That is no means no, because he's been pulling like these fucking antics like that, trying to win her back.
And
Guess
you're
what? It
at
doesn't cost
my fucking
any.
show.
Exactly.
Get the fuck
Get
out
the
of
fuck
here.
out of here.
Oh, I would be furious. I'd be furious because that is not something that should be happening in public. That is
Right.
something
I have a
that.
picture. Look at her face in this.
Oh
Her
my God, she
face-
looks pissed.
She should be.
Can't. I heard though somebody had said that it was a total setup. Like she knew about it and everything. I'm like, I don't know. I saw her face.
I mean,
She don't look happy.
it's because it's Hollywood, like maybe, but
Yeah.
she does look upset. And regardless, like,
Don't pull that shit.
don't pull that shit. Like, it is so. That's something that should have been and seems like was worked out in private.
Yeah.
She's ready to move on. It's not. I
Well,
feel like
she's somebody. He's fucking nobody.
he's clinging to her.
He's clinging to her.
Mhm.
Like he fucked up and made like. I mean, like, you're fucking done. And she's like, no, I'm better than this. Like, we're done. And Cardi B is somebody.
Yeah.
He's not. So, like,
I got some
all
advice
these-
from you from Disney. Let it go.
Exactly.
Let it go.
Well, I
Done.
really do, and we've talked about on this show before about like how I feel like we have set the wrong example
Yep.
for both men and women, but in this case, particularly for men, that if you fucked up, just do this grand fucking gesture.
It'll be fine.
And it'll be fine. And I'm like, that's not how the real world works.
No.
She doesn't want to be with you. And if she caved because of this, it still wouldn't last. It's not real. Like,
Right.
just because you made her feel so much fucking pressure being in front of however many thousands of people
Right.
doing this thing. Like, that's awful. Ugh.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, I gotta think at a certain point it is some sort of setup, because like, how did he get through security? How did he get, you know what I mean, backstage with $15,000 worth of flowers and shit like that? But
Yeah.
even still, I'm just like,
Yeah, it's either a setup
It's-
or he was able to convince them that it was, like, you know, like he was
She's-
able
yeah.
to be like, no, me and Cardi have this understanding. She don't talk to her because she's performing right now, but like we planned this whole thing,
Yeah.
you know, because they know him probably on a personal
Sure,
level.
right?
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Oh my gosh.
but no,
Yeah.
but it's a no.
Yeah,
It's a no.
it's a no for me.
But don't do it.
But that's such a thing, and I think it angered me so much because we don't see that as often anymore, where it was just like one of those like really old tropes where it's like no means keep pushing.
Right.
You know what I
Yes,
mean? And
yes.
I fucking hate that.
Right, yeah.
No means no.
We're
The
actually
end.
this is going to be a New Year's Eve episode.
Oh yeah.
That's going to be coming out on New Year's Eve, but
No, the day
I'm-
after New Year's. Because
Yeah.
New Year's Day is on a Monday or Tuesday.
Yes, so this is Wednesday the 2nd.
oh, okay, so all right.
So welcome to 2019.
Welcome to
Yeah.
2019. So
New year,
yeah,
new you.
I'm getting ready to do for our Christmas Eve episode of my other podcast. We're going to be doing "Baby It's Cold Outside"
Oh.
because it's a really like polarizing
Yeah.
kind of song, and I can see it from both perspectives.
Absolutely.
I'm not trying to start a fight about it.
No.
But it is that idea of if a woman says no, regardless of if she's being coy or not, continuing to push
Right.
is not something we should be encouraging.
Right.
Yes.
Because no should be no. Even if she's being coy, let her say that to you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, don't just keep pushing, assuming that if you do this relentless pursual, you might be able to turn that no into a yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
this
that's
isn't-
not cool.
It's
this
not a good
isn't-
look.
This
No.
isn't say anything. You're not John
No.
Cusack.
No. Go away.
Go away. No means no.
No means no. From both perspectives. 'Cause
In
we've had
your
some
eyes.
female stalkers too that we've talked
Oh,
about.
I know.
No
Oh,
means
yeah.
fucking no.
No
he
means
doesn't
no.
want to be with you.
Oh man,
Crazy astronaut, sad astronaut. He doesn't want to be
He
with
does
you.
not want to be with you.
No,
Leave it
diapers
alone.
aren't a good look on anybody.
No. Stop.
Unless you're under the age of like 4.
Yeah.
It's not a
Yes,
good look for
yes.
Oh my gosh.
Uh-huh.
And even then, not the most figure flattering. Just
you. No,
saying.
it really isn't.
Um,
It doesn't do anything for your curves.
Can we talk about New Year's resolutions then? Or
Yeah.
Did we?
We did on our shorty, but I'm happy to do it again.
Oh yeah, we did already talk about it on their shorties.
Yeah.
Eh,
You
never
have
mind
something
then.
new? You wanna-
No, not really.
Okay.
I mean, I was thinking about them, like, because I was thinking about what I said on our shorties, and I'm just like, I feel like I have a lot of resolutions this year. But I said, you know, the ones that I said on our shorty, and then I have some other ones, but I've decided to keep them to myself because I was listening to this thing that was talking about how, and everyone do what you want, of course. And like,
Right.
if it helps you to like put it out into the universe, and do that. But I was listening to this thing that was talking about how if you keep your goals to yourself, you're more likely to complete them because something happens to you psychologically when you say something like, I want to lose 30 pounds. And then someone's like, oh, that's awesome. Great. When you hear that like
You already
positive
got the-
feedback,
you already
it
got
like
it.
check marks that off in your brain already.
I can
'Cause
see
you're
that.
getting those positive feelings from just saying that you're going to do something.
Right.
So your brain doesn't motivate you to like actually go and do it.
Right.
So I think for my other goals, I'm gonna try keeping them to myself and
Actually,
see if it manifests that way. We'll see.
I actually have one that I don't want you to congratulate me on because I'm not calling it a New Year's resolution because
Okay.
it just is what I'm going to do.
Okay.
I am going to quit smoking. And I'm giving myself New Year's Eve because I know I'll probably want to. And but New Year's Day, I'm done. And it's not a New Year's resolution. It's just I'm fucking done.
It's just
And
happening.
I don't need a pat me on the back in a month after that when you're like you've seen me
That's
stay
exactly
steady
right.
and know that I'm following through with it. But I'm sick of smoking. It's disgusting and I hate it. I don't even enjoy it. It's just so habitual now. And I'm done. I'm done.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
And I
cheering
quit
for you,
cold
girl.
turkey last time
Yeah, you
too.
did.
And I gave myself a quit date last time too. I know I can do it. And it's just a matter of being diligent and just fucking doing it. And being stronger and more stubborn than cigarettes, which if my mom had anything to say about it, she'd definitely say I'm more stubborn than anything. So I feel like I got it.
I feel like for me, 2018 was the year of just like doing the damn thing. Like that was 2018's motto for me, was just like, just do it. Because like, what's the worst that could happen? Most likely something great is going to happen.
Right.
And so, because before I think I put a lot of like roadblocks in my own way.
100%.
And so
same.
for like 2019, I'm going to continue with that theme of just like, if you want to do something, just do it, because everything else will either open itself up for you
100%.
or you'll realize that that's not for you and you'll do something else. What's the worst that can happen? So just do things this year.
This was the year. 2018 was the year of figuring out shit. You know what I mean? It was such a different place for me where I was like, maybe I do like to drink at home by myself.
Yeah.
Or maybe I do like to, go out on a Wednesday night, or, just figuring all this stuff out. As we shake down to the end of this year, I'm like, oh, okay, now I know these are the things. Like, am I the type of person that takes the laundry out of the dryer and folds it and puts it away right away? Or am I the person where it sits in the, it was like that year of trying to figure out who
were.
I am unobserved and by myself. Who am I to my core? What type of person am I? Do I clean up the kitchen right after I make dinner? Do I like going out? Do I like all these different things, all of these questions? I feel like I spent the year like figuring that out. We started a podcast. That was not something I thought I would be.
We just did it.
into at all. And boy, am I glad. You know, it really, really was definitely like a year that I needed. It's not a year I'm going to look back on particularly fondly. Any
growth.
kind of growing comes with growing pains. But I'm thankful for it. I'm ready for like 2019 going in solidly with who I am and what I want, and knowing who I am unobserved, I feel like puts me on a better footing right from the gate.
Yeah.
It's that runaway bride thing, right? It's that what kind of eggs do I really like? Did I just like
Yeah, you
over
have to
easy
cook
eggs
yourself a million
because
kinds of eggs to
Yeah.
figure out what you like.
Yeah.
And I
But
like
that means 2019 is going to be fucking
boom.
bomb.
Yeah. I'm ready. I'm ready for a hamburgers year.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I think I have a good feeling about 2019. I really do.
I do
think
too.
it's gonna be a good year.
Yeah.
I do too.
You
I'm
know?
excited.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So okay, before we get into our fuck, marry, kill, just really quickly, because I know we had talked about doing a deeper dive on the Natalie Portman, Jessica Simpson,
Yeah. What'd you find
situation.
out?
So, as I kind of suspected, I feel like the media dubbed this a feud because they like women fighting.
They do.
Yep.
Yep. Because I think it was a misunderstanding. I understand like why Jessica Simpson took offense to that
And took the response that she did.
took the response that she did. And I actually, stand by the fact that I think it was a very well worded response
Right.
that I liked a lot. I really liked the way she responded to this situation. But I will read for you so it all came out of Natalie Portman saying, she said, I remember being a teenager and there was Jessica Simpson on the cover of a magazine saying I'm a virgin while wearing a bikini, and I was confused. Like, I don't know what this is trying to tell me as a woman, as a girl. So to me, I understand why Jessica Simpson would take offense to that.
Sure.
But she's not commenting on, to me, I take that, she's not making a slight against Jessica Simpson.
Right.
She's making a slight against like what
is
that media trying to tell me.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I understand as like a young girl having those similar feelings of being like, you do feel like your life is so shaped by the media you consume.
Sure.
Yeah.
That like, what does that say about you as a girl? Who are you supposed to be?
Right.
If both of these things are being idealized and fetishized at the same time. Like,
I know.
what does that mean?
I cannot wait for the Madonna whore trope to just be done.
Done. Me
Done.
too. Yeah, me too. So Natalie Portman actually responded to Jessica Simpson.
Oh, okay.
Great.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, she responded to Jessica Simpson's post and she said, I completely agree with you that a woman should be allowed to dress however she likes and behave however she likes and not be judged. I only meant to say I was confused as a girl coming of age in the public eye around the same time by the media's mixed messages about how girls and women were supposed to behave. I didn't mean to shame you and I'm sorry for any hurt my words may have caused. I have nothing but respect for your talent and your voice that you use to encourage and empower women all over the globe.
Nice.
So it's
Yeah.
not a feud.
Great.
It's just
not a feud at
a
all.
misunderstanding.
No. Yeah.
Both of them said really constructive things.
Yep.
I think.
Yep.
And that's it.
And
Yeah.
and we'll put on both ends
Yeah.
and good.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is the we like the drama. We like
cat fights.
cat fights.
You know?
Dude, this is the reason why there's shows like Bachelor. There's shows like
Bad
Real
Girls Club,
House,
which is just that.
The
It's
Real
just girls
Wives,
fighting.
all that shit. Like
Yeah.
those shows wouldn't even exist if they didn't put this power struggle and dynamic against woman. And
Yeah.
Well, that's because they know, like, if women actually like stood together, like how fucking powerful we
you're
would be.
in so
Oh,
much
yeah.
trouble.
You'd be in so much trouble
Yeah.
if women stopped fighting other women
Yep.
and actually started empowering
Well, we've
each
said
other
it
and
on
cheering
this-
each other on.
Yeah, we've said it on this show. We're like, listen, if a guy is cheating on you with another woman, don't go after that woman.
Right.
You should join forces with that woman.
Yeah.
Go after that guy. She
Fuck
didn't
that
do
guy.
anything to you. You know what I mean?
We were talking about this last night where it's like we need to get rid of that like mindset that there's not enough success for everybody.
Yes.
That someone else's success like threatens
failure.
yours. It doesn't threaten yours. There's plenty to go around, and you cheering on someone else's success is the best thing
Absolutely.
that can happen.
Yep. I want
Which is
everyone
why
to win.
Which is why for Patreon, I have been very diligently, like when I'm in other areas and been traveling, I'm like reaching out to other podcasts because I'm like, if we have any modicum of success, there's enough to go around. And I think that,
plenty enough.
cheerleading each other, cheerleading other podcasts, cheerleading other people is what you should be doing. It's not a good look on you to talk badly about another,
Agree.
whatever.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
there is enough to go around.
There's room
We're-
at the top for everyone.
Yes,
Yeah.
there is.
We can just build a bigger platform.
That's
Do you know
right.
what I mean?
And
like,
together you can build a bigger platform.
I think it was Kamala Harris at the beginning of this year who said that, or at the beginning of 2018, that said that the motto for the year was like, if you're not invited to the table, bring a folding chair. And it's
Yeah.
just like, we'll just make the table bigger.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just make the table bigger. And then
Absolutely.
everyone can have a seat at the table.
Yep.
You know?
Well,
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
you're listening to My Worst Date. This is Cassie.
I'm Keegan.
And I'm Christina.
Yeah.
Hi.
Figured we should introduce ourselves at some point.
Yes.
So we want to do our Patreon patron shout out.
Yes.
We want to give a very big special thank you to Kelly Reynolds, who is the host of Boobies and Newbies.
Yes.
We did an episode with her on her show that was super fun. She's also
much
going to
fun.
be with us for our live show on Saturday, February 9th here in LA. So if you are an LA listener, pay attention to that if you want to come to one of our shows. She also joined our Patreon, and we are so thrilled and thankful and grateful for that. We love you, Kelly. We loved working with you. We can't wait to
keep
work
doing
with
it.
you in the future. So thank you so much to Kelly, and thank you also to Sarah Lee, who I know Christina has become pretty close with.
Yes, she's my Reddit best friend. She says it's okay to use her name, so that's all good. It's been crazy how fortuitous, life is in general. I think like you find people when you're supposed to, and something as silly as searching Reddit for these dating stories. I'm just really glad that we were able to make a connection because their stories are really, really
Amazing.
fun.
Yeah.
And I feel a kinship with her. So I'm so happy that we were able to make that connection, and so thankful that she is a supporter and that she
Yeah.
likes it. So
Yeah, awesome. Thank
appreciate
you
it.
so
Thank
much,
you.
Sarah. Thank
Yay.
you so much.
we've got a kind of special fuck, marry, kill.
Yeah.
Well, not special. We just haven't done it yet. We were
fun.
outside like brainstorming what we wanted to do, and we haven't really done athletes
Right.
yet.
Have not.
And there's many hot, talented athletes.
There are.
I mean, we, as much as we do like celebrities and like actors and that sort of thing, I was just thinking, since we've had that conversation, there are vast numbers. I mean, we came up with 3 pretty quickly.
Very quickly.
Yeah.
But I just thought of like how many more there are.
In fact, you know what? I would like, because I was thinking, kind of recently about how, like, yes, we are 3 cisgendered straight women,
Mhm.
but we should also do more women fuck, marry, kills too.
Yeah, we've done
Like,
a few of those.
We have done a
Yeah.
few, but yeah, I'm like, we could, because there are like hot female athletes.
Oh,
as
hell
well.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
You want
Yeah.
to do both? Let's do
We
both.
can do both. You want to do
Let's
both?
Yeah.
Okay. All
Okay.
right. All right. So
It's our podcast. We can do what we want.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Don't judge me. Stop looking at me like that.
Guys first. Let's
So
do-
our male one that we came up with, we got football. So we got Tom Brady, the
I just
epitome.
rolled my eyes out loud.
I know, but he
All of
is.
us are like,
It was an accident.
He is the American quarterback. I
Yeah.
mean, as much as we, yeah.
All
Basketball,
American.
we got LeBron James.
Yeah, we do.
Contentious if you're from Ohio.
I'm from Ohio and I like
am
him still.
too.
I don't care.
Yeah. And then soccer, we got David Beckham.
Fuck
Of course.
yeah.
Of course.
So I
Well,
think
yeah,
I'm
we
going to
all
go
know
out
ours,
on a
right?
limb and say that we all have the same one.
Probably.
I'm going to
Okay.
say that we all have the same one.
There's only one thing that's in question at all here.
Who you going to marry?
Who
Yeah.
you gonna marry?
Oh,
Because I
LeBron.
think there's no question we're all killing Tom Brady.
we're all killing Tom
We're
Brady.
all killing Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Well,
Fuck
he played,
that guy.
He played for Michigan, and you know how I feel
He's
as a Buckeye.
dumb as a box of rocks.
He's so stupid.
Can't with him.
I'm
I
sorry
just
if you like
can't.
Tom Brady, but seriously, every interview I ever see with him, I'm like, you are so stupid. You like
Yeah.
cannot string 5 words together, and I can't be
Yeah.
with someone like that.
Hashtag head injuries.
Oh no!
Concussed.
Yeah.
Oh no!
No
Hashtag
shit.
not all wrestlers.
exactly.
Not all football players.
Not all football
Yes.
players.
True.
Okay, and I'm going to fuck David Beckham.
Hell,
Oh,
fucking
God.
yes.
My God, with that body.
He's got soccer stamina.
Oh,
Your body's calling. Oh, he is hot.
he is hot.
Yeah.
And then you marry LeBron James. Good
Yeah.
Lord. He's
I think
like
I agree.
an activist. He's
Yes.
Yeah, and
so
that,
well
that
spoken.
was the hard one. Is like, do you? Because David Beckham does seem like a great
He does
husband.
a lot of activism and stuff too.
And he seems like a great husband. He's
Yeah.
a good husband to Victoria. He seems to really,
Yeah.
fawn over her, and he's been with her for forever. And as
Forever.
far as I know, no scandals.
Right.
So, he seems great. But yeah, I think LeBron's funny.
yeah, there's
He's
something
actually
about him.
funny.
He's tall as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, tall as fuck. A great athlete.
Yeah.
A great
Human.
human. Yeah.
He
For
just
everything
looks
we
like
know.
he'd be more fun to hang out
He'd be
with.
fun.
When
Yeah.
I come down to it, I'm just like, David Beckham is almost like, he just seems like a little bit more standoffish. I would feel like I have to be on my best behavior with, whereas LeBron, I'm like, yeah, you
we
want
can
to
cut loose.
We can cut loose. Let's
David
get some
Beckham-
chicken nuggets.
He's just
and
funny.
David
Oh,
Beckham
chicken
would
nuggets.
sweep you off your feet for a night. Like David Beckham's
Yes.
going to take you to a nice dinner. You're going to drink
Oh my
champagne.
God, like Michelin star
Right.
restaurant.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
He's gonna do that, and he's gonna sweep you off your feet for
Yeah.
an evening.
Yeah.
But I don't want that every day.
No.
I want LeBron every day. Like
Yeah.
LeBron seems fun. He seems like we could get into some activism together.
Yes.
It would be great.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah.
So should we all pick a female? I think I know mine.
Female athlete. Okay, let me think for a second.
I'm gonna go Serena.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and
I
put
think you
dibs
have to.
on that.
yeah.
I'm gonna do Ronda Rousey.
Oh,
Okay.
good one. I don't know why. You guys are going to laugh at me. The first one that came into my head was Carrie Strug.
Oh my god!
And then
The gymnast?
Then I thought, yes. And then I thought of this Saturday Night Live
Skit.
with fucking what's his face? I'm sorry. Well, I'll go. You have to look it up.
You just popped out of that so
So
quickly.
fast.
I know. You have to. You know, it's because I thought, I'm like, okay, gymnast. I'll go Simone Biles.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Simone. Okay.
Yeah.
She's real cute. I watched her on Dancing with the Stars. She's very cute.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about me. Maybe it's because of my size. Because my
She's tiny.
she's tiny, and my girl crush is Natalie Portman, who's
Yeah.
also tiny.
You like
Tiny.
very
You like
petite
ti- like-
girls.
I like petite girls. I like tall guys. tiny girls.
I have to say, watching Simone Biles on Dancing with the Stars made me like her even more because she seems like. I don't think she was ever not smiling. Like she is just like, even when she was sad, because she's highly competitive, and if she wasn't like getting the score she wanted, she was still so positive.
Yeah,
that I was like,
I like that.
You're like the most positive person I've ever seen.
I think the stats wise, I think she is the most successful gymnast ever.
I think so. Like she's got them, but she's still so humble. She seems. Yeah. Okay, so we've got Simone, we've got Serena, and we've got Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I know these are all kind of. It's kind of
tough.
It's tough. I've got to marry Serena
because part of me wants to just woman power this whole thing. Like I like all of them.
I like all of them.
Yeah.
I don't like
Again, we just talked about female competition. We're like, I'm going to kill this person.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't want to kill any of them.
So you're marrying Serena.
But I would marry Serena.
Yeah, same. I mean, because she's a badass bitch.
Dude, Simone with that flexibility of a gymnast.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I'm sure there's things you can do that like I can't even imagine. Do you know what I mean?
Ronda Rousey might hurt me in bed.
Yeah.
I don't mind that.
She might hurt me.
Heyo.
Yeah, well, I got mine then.
Yeah. All right, you go.
Yeah, well, then I'm definitely going to marry Serena. She's a badass bitch, and goddamn, she's a powerhouse. I just have so much respect
Serena's
for her.
going to take care of business.
She is.
She's
She's got your back. Like there's so many things that are yes about her.
She's somebody that takes the clothes out of the dryer and puts them away
She
immediately.
does.
Yeah. You can just tell with some people. Like you look at me and you're like, sometimes you don't do that. I look at her and I'm like, she never fucking does. Is taken care of. She takes care of
She never
business.
goes to bed with dishes in the sink.
No, and she always
And her
does her
husband probably
full
does
skincare routine before she goes to bed,
10-step
even if she's
Korean
had a
skincare.
few drinks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah,
that's right.
yeah.
I like her.
That's right.
Yeah. Yes, so I'm marrying Serena.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fuck Ronda Rousey. She seems like a good time. She seems crazy.
Yeah.
But also fun.
But good crazy.
But like good. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not like Fatal Attraction.
She's someone you can knock some beers back
Yeah.
with, for sure.
Like we'd have fun.
We would do
We'd
shots.
get super drunk and then it would turn into
tequila
whatever.
shots.
You know.
You're doing tequila shots
Yeah,
with
you
Ronda
are.
Rousey.
Yes.
Yeah.
I might actually pass out before we got anywhere, but
Very
she'd
sloppy.
drink me under the table for sure.
Yes.
I'd wake up and I'd be like, "Oh wait, what's happening?"
Did we fuck?
Yeah, that would be sloppy drunk sex for sure.
Oh my god. Yes.
And as much as I respect and do agree that she's very flexible, I'm gonna.
Yeah, she's cute, but I don't know why gymnast came into my head for female athlete.
Yeah, here's the thing. And this is why I don't want to say that I want to kill her because we all know, of course, I don't want to actually kill her.
No,
but
we do not have to commit to it.
We do not have to commit to it. I just look at Simone as like a little sister.
Same.
Like
She's
I
a little
look
too
at
young,
her as
I
like
feel.
a sister, and so
I know,
I
but
don't really want to.
that's
fuck her.
unfortunately what gymnastics does to your body because I think she's like
old
your
is she?
She's
age.
a little younger than me. She's in like her
She
earlier
does.
20s.
She looks
But
12.
she looks, and she's like 4'11".
Yeah.
and it's that like really sweet personality that I'm like, I want you to be my bestie. Like I want you
little
to
buddy.
be my friend,
my buddy,
Yeah.
and me.
Yeah, my buddy. I want you
Kid
to,
sister.
yeah, I want you to be my kid sister.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I
Aw.
don't think I can. It feels wrong
Yeah.
for me
It
to say
feels-
that I want to
yeah. It
fuck
feels icky.
Simone.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna do the same as Cassie.
I'm probably going to do the
Unfortunately.
same as Cassie too. Even though I brought up Simone, it's just she's like little and cute, and I'm like I'd love to like I don't know dress her up
For
and stuff
girls,
like that.
let's do fuck, marry, friend.
fuck, marry, friend. Oh,
So Simone,
I like that.
Simone can be our friend.
Simone would be our friend. That is,
I like it.
love that. Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Perfect.
But yeah, definitely like Ronda Rousey. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be
Yeah.
fun. I would be scared.
Yeah.
I'd be
Oh, I know.
scared,
But it'd be
scared but
fun.
excited.
Yes. yes.
You're like, I'm nervous in my belly.
I've got butterflies.
Amazing.
Let's add alcohol to this.
I'm gonna have bruises in
I'm
the
not
morning.
shaking. That's so.
I'm not nervous at all.
This is so fun.
In the morning, we can play Bruise or Hickey.
Oh my god! I can't tell you how many times this year I've played that. Oh my god!
No, we know.
Oh,
How many times have I called you out at lunch?
I
like,
know. We were like, "Bitch,
excuse me,
where's your
ma'am."
turtleneck?" Like, come on. All right, ladies. Should we take 5 and then come
Yes.
back with stories?
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
And we're back.
We're back.
We're back.
With stories.
Yes. You want to lead us off there, Cassie?
Yeah, it's going to be me. And technically, I'm going to say this because technically this story, I kind of chose a shorter one because I'm going to be honest with you guys, my crazy in love might be a little long.
Okay, that's good.
So this could
that
be
means
more.
it's hamburgers.
It is raw hamburgers.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's actually a double decker. And I this is a story that we'd had in our deck for a while because one of our very first followers on Instagram had this great story up that she was like, yeah, absolutely share it. So shout out to Kendria Dates on Instagram. She had shared a story on her Instagram that goes like this. She'd met this guy online. She lives in Hawaii, by the way.
Okay.
So jealous of that.
So jealous.
Ugh.
I mean, we're sitting here
I
in
know.
like
Hot
75-degree weather in LA right before Christmas,
Yeah,
and
we
we're
have,
like,
oh,
she
so
lives in
jealous.
Hawaii.
I know. We have like perfect weather
I know.
today. It's,
I'm
like, gorgeous.
literally in a bra right now.
I know.
So.
So she says she met the guy online. And when they decide to meet, she's like, for the first time, she's like, let's meet in a Walmart parking lot so that we can like meet first, like offsite. Totally makes sense.
I can
We
get back
talked
in my
about-
car and leave
Right.
if I need
Yeah.
to.
Totally
There's
makes sense.
CCTV.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. So they meet in the Walmart parking lot. She gets there and they decide to take one car. She's like, I don't really know this guy, so hop into my car. Smart.
So she's in control.
All
I
the
see that.
smarts.
Okay.
I love that because
Yeah.
I'm like, this is the wisest decision of all things.
Yeah.
And our instinct would be to get into their cars because that's typically like the man usually drives or whatever.
Right.
So
Yeah.
like, good, take control.
Well, and she says too, she's like, I'm skeptical of him driving. I love, because I think you should. These days, you cannot be too certain
Agreed.
about anything. You
Right.
never know. So I have him get in my car, and we start to drive down the street. And she goes, and I can tell as I'm driving, she's like, I can feel him staring at me. And through my peripheral, I can see him staring at me.
Ew, I don't like this.
And she's like, and I don't think too much of it. She goes, but we pull up to the stoplight and I look over and he's holding his weenie.
No.
Hold on.
No.
I have questions.
No.
Yes.
Inside
No.
his pants? Outside his pants? What's
Outside
happening?
Outside his pants.
Holding
oh
his
my
fucking,
God.
she says weenie. And she even says, she goes, and I had to use the word weenie because there's no other word for what was happening.
Oh my
Oh! She said he's looking at me, looking at his weenie, looking back at me.
No.
Is this the creepiest fucking thing? And she's like, I veered over to the side of the road, noped right the fuck out of there and said, you can get the fuck out of my car, and dropped him off.
Oh my God.
Bye.
Kudos to her.
Amazing.
You imagine what if she was in the car with him?
Yes, queen. That's
Then-
a bomb ass bitch.
Then you fucking tuck and roll.
Yeah, you
You're
do.
like,
Stop, like,
you nopes right out the car.
You don't even say anything. The car's still moving, and you're,
You're
just,
just
like, you very calmly unbuckle, open the door, just tuck and roll.
right on out of there.
new favorite meme that I
Oh
saw
my
was this thing
God.
from Jaws, and he's like, we're gonna need a bigger nope.
Yeah.
Oh, that's how I
exactly.
feel
Need a
about
bigger
this.
nope. Yeah.
Can you imagine? Can you fucking
Who the
even
fuck-
imagine?
Who the fuck? What is going through his head? What is
don't
going through his head?
know.
I just met this person in a Walmart parking lot.
I'm hopped into her car. You know what I should do? I should get my weenie
I should
out.
jerk off.
Did you think that this was
Ugh.
like back pages or
Yeah.
something? Did you think that this was that you were meeting for sexual contact? I mean, just for that?
I told you
Even if
guys
you were
I
being
think
respectful.
that I used to, when I was a kid, play this game called Consequences because I have always had kind of massive anxiety where like even as like a 6-year-old, I would like imagine a situation and then I would play out all of the possible consequences
Yes.
to that action. And I'm like, have you never played that game? Like, what did this guy
totally.
think was going to happen when he pulled his fucking micro penis out in a stranger's car?
We're the same because I'm the same way. That's why I don't understand these people.
Yeah,
I'm
like, what conclusion did you come
This is
to?
what happens when you live with like high functioning anxiety
Same.
all of the time because
Same.
that is what I do. It's like
100.
you're like, okay, but this could happen or this could happen or this other thing could happen. You overthink every situation, and in some ways that's bad, but in some ways it's fucking great.
I've never pulled my dick out in a car.
I've never pulled my tits out in front of a stranger.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
are you
No.
doing?
What is wrong with you? I
Unwanted.
cannot think like okay, so I'm assuming it's like still like daylight. Okay, I'm trying to think
just
of
think,
this
yeah,
guy's
what
like
is your
best case scenario.
Yeah, what do you
so
think the next
she
step
looks over, he's looking at you, he's got his dick out, and she's like,
Want some of that?
oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And so she then pulls over the car.
I need to fuck you right now.
This needs to happen right now in
Like-
broad daylight. And I'm like, so zero times
also,
ever happens.
the
This is what
idea-
happens when people are raised by porn.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
shit.
Yes.
Because it is that is a porno.
Yeah.
That is a porno, and
100%.
and that's what happens in the
It's
porno.
like that
is
episode-
the chick is into it.
It's that episode of Friends.
She got paid to be into it, lady or guys.
Yes, she's not really in.
This is not a real life.
It's like that episode of Friends where they have the free porn, and so they're afraid they're going to lose it if they turn the TV off, so they leave it on.
literally, yeah.
And then they're talking to each other, and they're like, "The weirdest thing happened. I ordered a pizza, and then the pizza delivery lady didn't want to come in and fuck me right away. Like I'm so confused."
But yeah, we're dealing with like a generation of guys who literally that is their sex education.
Yeah.
And they think that kind of behavior or something is acceptable. It's the reason why
would
like
freak
I
the
get
fuck out.
I
I
get
don't know.
fucking text messages saying like I want to piss on you.
Ugh.
You know what I
You
mean?
don't know me, sir.
Within like literally a half an hour of
And
matching.
here's the thing.
Oh my God.
And I'm
We
like-
talked
Get to
about
know-
this on the Patreon video.
Lennon and
with-
McCartney,
no,
and they're like, I want to piss all over your tits. And I'm like,
What?
Nope.
excuse me? Like, excuse me, though. Excuse me, though.
It also,
Ay,
it also
ay.
grosses me out that like use your fucking words. Like he was like looking at his dick, looking at her,
Yeah.
looking at his dick, looking at her, and I'm like, what? Like
No.
you could just ask.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
No.
So,
Is that the
yeah,
grossest
like, what's her name? She'd be like, so, blank, I'm really attracted to you. Do you mind if I pull my penis out and start rubbing it gently in your car
Yeah.
whilst staring at
No.
you?
Yeah.
And even then, it would still be a bad date.
So it's okay if you say no.
Still bad date.
So it's okay if you say no, but I'm letting you know I'm feeling the vibe right now. And she'd
Yeah.
be like, no, thank you.
No, thank you. Can I take you back to your car? That's how that would end.
Yeah.
If
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was the case.
Yeah.
But still a little less scarring than
More
like,
respectful.
yeah, more respectful. It's
Ugh.
actually kind of like a form of harassment.
It's consent. It's all
honestly
about
totally
consent.
harassment.
It is actually probably considered
It
sexual
is.
assault.
It is.
'cause,
I mean, that's what
technically
Louis
you're in
C.K.
public. I mean,
There was no consent.
right.
No
Yeah.
consent.
Louis C.K. at least asked.
that's
I mean, he shouldn't have. He was
Touche.
still in a position of power, but like, I
Touche.
mean,
Yeah,
he didn't even
touche.
ask.
We're not arguing what a piece of shit Louis C.K. is.
Yeah.
But yes, at least fucking offer some kind of consent there. Like, come on. What are you doing?
No.
Okay.
Fucking phenomenal. Thank you for
I know
sharing.
it's short, but I was like,
No,
it's-
that's fucking priceless.
I've been holding on to that one for a real long time.
yeah,
Jesus
that's
Christ.
good.
Okay, so this one's long, so I'm going to edit as I go. So apologies to whoever sent this in because I am going to edit a little bit as I go, just because it is a little long, but I still wanted to tell it. So
Nice.
Get my White Claw ready.
yes,
Yes.
prep. So this was right out of high school, and my self-esteem wasn't the best, so I hadn't learned to be rude if I needed to,
Fuck them. Yeah.
or wanted to yet.
Yeah.
This guy that I worked with was cute, and we had great conversation. So I asked him if he wanted to go out one day since he wasn't making a move. He said yes, and that he was glad that I asked because he was too shy to. We decided to go to a movie on the weekend since we worked at the movie theater and got our movies for free.
Oh, sweet.
They're teenagers. Free
Aw,
movie.
okay. Yeah.
We
This
figured.
is where you learn not to shit where you eat.
Oh,
I know.
a
This
fucking
is
man.
the lesson.
Yeah.
We figured out what we were going to see, and when I was going to meet him there, he called me before we were supposed to meet and asked if his brother and his brother's girlfriend could come along for a double date.
Surprise, double date.
We both get one person in for free as well, so they could get them in essentially for
get
free
it.
because they
Okay.
both work there. They got 2 tickets for free. It's like a free double date, essentially. I'm not opposed to double dates, but it was weird that his older brother was on our first date. I wouldn't want my sibling with me on a first date.
Yeah.
But I said yes because I was kind of used to just going along with anything, and this guy was nice and older than me. Pause. This did happen to me. I did go on a double date with a guy who brought my friend and his brother along.
Oh,
So at a Chili's where we had our date.
Did you get baby back ribs?
I remember
barbecue
I remember
sauce.
the queso. Probably fajitas.
Oh, dude, it's been a while. Oh, now I want fajitas.
I had fajitas the other day, and they were delicious.
Oh my god, I haven't had fajitas in a
Go
minute.
get you some.
Get yo
a week
some.
does not go by that I don't eat Mexican food. So
Well,
we
yeah,
live in-
absolutely. We live in
I
LA,
have to
but
do it.
yeah, I'm like fajitas is kind of like It's not. Is it Mexican food?
It's a very
mean,
specific set
I
of
don't
skills.
even know if it's actually technically,
But it's delicious.
but it's freaking delicious. And the place I went to
And
actually did.
It's the sizzling plate,
Oh,
man.
yeah. The place I went to actually gave it to you with not just peppers and onions, but also like zucchini and
Oh.
like squash. And I was like, this is delicious.
And it's all sizzly and
Yeah, it was delicious. Okay, anyway.
Anyway.
Anyway, sidebar for fajitas, which is not what they ate at all.
Okay.
So I'm going to kind of just paraphrase through the rest of this
Okay.
and then get on to the rest of the date. So she went on a date with this guy. She's calling him Caleb. And it was really weird because the brother and the girlfriend like didn't even introduce themselves to her. So she's on a date with this guy. He's not even trying to like hold her hand at the movie, and his brother's on the other side of him. And it's just weird and awkward. Basically, it's just super strange and awkward through the whole thing. So
Maybe brother was like, this is going to be awkward, so I'm going to keep it cool, pretend like I'm not here.
Yeah. Just pretend like I'm not here.
I'm not here.
Yeah, I'm just
Nothing
here
to
to
see
watch Ryan Reynolds because they went to a Ryan Reynolds movie. Okay.
Oh, fantastic. At least there's
Keegan.
that.
Yeah, but she says as part of the things that were wrong with this date, Ryan Reynolds died 20 minutes into the film, and she's like, "Well, God damn it, I came
Well.
here for Ryan."
Yeah.
Yeah.
What movie?
I don't know. I wondered that too. Okay. Afterwards, we parted ways from his brother, and wanting some alone time with my date, we decided to go to Denny's to get something to eat. Hell yes.
Fucking
Denny.
teenage
Hell yes.
Denny runs. Oh my god.
Moon over my hammy. Yummy.
Yeah.
This was the best part of the date, and we had really good conversation like we had at work. We talked for 2 hours at Denny's before we decided we had worn out our welcome at the diner.
Yeah, I know that fucking
Yeah, they're
waitress
like,
is like,
"Get
out.
Turn over.
Leave your $2
Your free
tip
coffee
and get
refills."
the fuck out of here.
Because they like shared a plate or whatever.
Yes.
And she's like, this bill's not going to be big enough for this to be worth it. He asked if I wanted to do something else, and being young and stupid, instead of going home at 1 a.m., he suggested we smoke pot, and I agreed. So the plan was...
Sounds right. Sounds
all
like
of
me.
this sounds
Yeah.
exactly like
Yeah.
me when I was like 18 or 19.
Yeah,
This sounds
exactly
exactly
right.
like
Yeah.
me. The plan was we were going to go out to the lake and smoke and look at the stars. Romantic, right? Yes.
this.
It does sound romantic. Except that's not what happened. Caleb says that he didn't have any on him, understandable, and that we needed to stop at his friend's house to buy some, and then we could go to the lake. We couldn't go to his house because he lived too far in the middle of nowhere. Are you from my town?
Right?
This all sounds like my
Jesus.
life.
Yeah.
Since he had driven me to the diner and my car was back at the theater, he drove us to his friend's house as well. We'll call him Luke. We go into Luke's place. He says hi, talks more than Caleb's brother did, and then he starts packing a bowl. Caleb doesn't address this, and they start smoking. They were supposed to buy weed and go to the lake. Okay.
This
No,
is
this is-
buying weed circa
This is-
19.
Yeah, exactly.
We had to
This is
smoke with your dealer.
I think that is something that's in the pros column now for legalizing.
Yes.
Oh,
I
weed,
don't have to
is
pretend
that
to like you.
I don't
You
have
don't have
to
to smoke
pretend.
out your
yeah,
dealer.
Exactly. You can just go to the store and buy
buy it.
pot.
Be done with it.
Go
Move
away.
on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then move on with your life. Go to the lake and have a romantic date instead of being stuck at fucking smelly Luke's house.
Absolutely.
Right.
Luke, I don't want to sit on your stained futon.
Ugh.
I know.
Definitely stained. What's this white substance? Nothing.
There's like an infomercial
Mayonnaise.
in the background. It's like the OxyClean guy.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh God. The ShamWow, dude. You're like, oh. I thought we were leaving, but instead Luke said we should smoke in the garage so it doesn't stink up his living room. Okay, Luke.
Yeah, listen,
Fucking
Luke. I don't
Jesus
believe you
Christ.
That's
shit.
because it's not Luke's house. It's Luke's mom's house, and he doesn't want to get caught.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, let's be
Luke
real.
doesn't have
Listen,
a house.
Luke.
He's selling pot in some small town. It's not a homeowner.
No.
He's like not a pillar of success, this Luke guy.
And if it was his house, you're sharing that with several other smelly teenagers, and that house does not care if it smells like weed.
He's like, we got to do it in the garage so my mom
doesn't find out.
Right. All the fans going. It's December.
All the windows are open. You're
Yeah.
like,
And of course it has that one thing that like every small town garage has, that like that extra fridge where all the pop
extra
is.
freezer. An extra freezer.
Steaks.
It's where the steaks and
Look
all
at
the
the
Dr.
peas.
Pepper is.
Relatable. Relatable. Guys, we're laughing so hard because when you live in LA and literally no one has a garage, it's like these are such Midwestern.
I'm so
It is.
nostalgic for a garage fridge.
With the
Yes.
refrigerator.
Yes. Caleb agrees, so I follow him into the cold garage in the middle of winter. I had only took about 2 hits, and that was all I wanted to do because I was with these guys I didn't know. Smart girl.
Smart.
Now, at that stage in my life, I was just coming out of my stoner phase, so I could handle a lot more than 2 hits. But all of a sudden, I was high as a kite, which was strange.
No.
As we were standing in the small circle in the garage, the 2 guys still smoking, they were only talking to each other. They didn't include me even once, and I was so high that I didn't know what they were talking about anyways and didn't honestly care.
No.
At one point, maybe 40 minutes later, I realized I was shivering and cold, but I was so out of it that I hadn't even realized until then, so I declared, I'm cold, and the 2 looked at me for the first time since we'd been out there and agreed that we should go inside. Once inside, they kept talking to each other, and I was holding onto the counter that separated the kitchen from the living room, staring right at the front door. All of a sudden, I got really dizzy and nauseous and thought I needed to go outside and get some air or I was going to throw up. I remember thinking, what was in that weed I smoked?
No shit.
And remembered something that Luke said before we started smoking, that he had sold some cocaine earlier. And I knew then that this weed was definitely laced with something.
Shit.
I started
That's
walking.
the worst fucking feeling.
It's awful.
I've done that.
Another pro in legalizing shit
that's
is
right.
that
You know
you're
exactly
not
what
going
it
to get
is.
surprise fucking
Yeah.
pot laced with
Yep.
all kinds of crazy
I
shit.
had fucking pot laced with meth one time. Are
Shut
you fucking
up.
kidding
Oh
me?
my
I'm like,
God.
who the fuck does this? And
I-
also, too, fucking tell people. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. But the problem is when you're dealing with someone like Luke, who's clearly dealing more than one thing, he might not even have done it on purpose. But it's
Sure.
just like your shit gets like mixed up together. But
Contaminated.
there is nothing worse. That hasn't happened to me, but there is nothing worse than getting more high than you like expected to.
Oh
The
my
worst.
god.
It
like
is the worst.
No, or
Because
like
she was trying to be responsible.
Yeah.
She knew that she wasn't.
what her
yeah,
shit is.
she knows what she can tolerate, what her tolerance is, and like
You're right,
yeah.
Christina. This is a number one reason why it should be legal because
Yes.
I'll tell you right now,
Safer.
it is safer.
Yeah.
it is
is.
100% safer.
I started walking towards the front door without saying anything, and as I put my hand on the doorknob, I opened the door just the teeniest bit. I passed out, falling over right there in front of the front door. Now, when I passed out, I could still hear things going on around me, which was strange, but a lifesaver in this situation because I would have been terrified if I didn't know what happened when I was out. Luckily, they were really nice guys, and I could hear them say, I know, you thought it was going to go a different
I
direction.
know.
Me
I
too.
was like, is this a crazy in love?
Right.
Or
Oh my
I
god.
could hear them say, oh shit, what do we do? They ended up carrying me up to the couch and getting me a glass of water, which I sipped when I woke up. When I was feeling okay enough to sit up, I said I wanted to go, and Caleb drove me to my car. I made it home safe, and I was mad at Caleb for not taking me to the lake like he said we would. And I didn't even get a kiss out of the whole thing.
Aw.
Sadly, because I had not gained as much self-esteem yet, I ended up going out with him again, and he kissed with his whole mouth open over mine, which was disgusting.
Yes. Yeah, that's the worst.
You put
kind
me
of
through
kiss.
that terrible fucking date, and then you kiss me like a goddamn like suction. No.
like a lamprey.
no.
Worse. And then your skin around your lips is like all red and raw
'cause
and
you basically,
chapped.
yeah. Oh,
Oh, it's the
disgusting.
worst.
So gross.
Why are we grossed out more about this than the lace?
I mean, the lace is scary. This is
Yeah.
just nasty.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Fucking
true.
learn how to kiss better.
Yeah.
You're doing it wrong.
I didn't end up dating him because I gained some standards and was turned off by him being high all the time and him telling me that the best memory he had in his entire life was, and I quote, this one experience I had on LSD. I asked, not even anything with friends or family or a trip? Nope, just the LSD trip.
Yeah.
Thanks, ladies, and I absolutely love your podcast. I always pause whatever other podcast I'm listening to put you on when you put on a new episode.
Oh
my God, that
that's
is-
so sweet.
That's
Sincerely,
so-
having too high of standards. Nope, you
Nope.
have just
Yes.
the right.
Girl, you got it
ma'am.
right.
Standards.
Yeah.
You got it. Damn
Dude,
right.
some of those like high school like learning
Scary.
dates
Yep.
though, they do. They take a turn where you're like, Jesus, is this going to be wacky hijinks or
Right.
48 hours mystery?
I think about the
true.
number of times, truly, it's scary. As much as I was just like, Mom, get off my back. It's
Yeah.
like she was trying to keep me safe because
Yeah.
I do think about the number of times that it could have ended so
Yeah.
differently for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Like if I was with someone with just a little less of a conscience,
Right. Yep.
I could have ended up in a much, much, much worse situation.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
All right. right. Well, mine is from my favorite Reddit, my new Reddit best friend sent me a meet the parents. I love her. So shout out. I'm going to read this. She says, way back in 1998, I was a sophomore at the University of Minnesota.
Nice.
And much to my chagrin, I was still a virgin. I'd been a nerdy, shy kid in high school. And while I started to come out of my shell a little at college, I was still pretty socially awkward. Plus, I was just the worst at flirting. I'm still not great at it, actually.
Winks with both eyes.
I know.
Feel you.
Wink. I know, me too. I'm the worst. Anyway, being that this is the late 90s, I took refuge in online chat rooms.
Yes.
That's where I met Joe, who was in the Army and stationed overseas, but was originally from a small town in Minnesota about an hour away from Minneapolis. This is just what I was talking about to you guys today.
Yes.
When I'm like online chat rooms, when everything was so innocent and we took people at face value that that's who they actually
fucking did.
were.
Yeah.
And I'm actually probably pretty sure, I never did anything insane, but I'm pretty sure that I stretched the truth on myself.
Oh,
for
sure.
I made myself more interesting or beautiful
100%.
than I was, you know?
I mean, I do that now on Tinder.
Yeah, you're like,
Oh, shit.
I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking amazing. I'm totally into quantum physics and blah, blah, blah.
Then you go out with a quantum physicist and they're
Yeah,
like,
and they're
so
like-
what do you think about this thing? And you're like,
And I'm like,
I've listened to 3 podcasts about that. I can regurgitate whatever
Yes.
information I have from that.
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm doing all of these great things. And I run and do yoga every single day. I'm so in shape and I love hiking.
I know. I'm like, when
No.
I say I do yoga, I mean like once a month in my living room.
Amen.
Yes.
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 100%.
I'm like, my thing is like, oh yeah, no, I do yoga and yeah, I love hiking. I'm like, yeah, once a month, maybe. But,
Yeah.
whatever. So we chatted practically every day for a few months. And while he was a nice guy, I never really fell for him like the way that he appeared to fall for me.
Oh, yikes.
In fact, I remember kind of thinking, he'll do. I really, really didn't want to be a virgin anymore.
Oh, no.
Get it, girl. Like, I get it. You're like,
Yeah.
you know what?
It's time.
2019.
Yeah.
You're thinking resolutions.
This is
You're
the
like,
year.
this is the year. Things that I want to accomplish.
Yeah.
I want to get my degree and I want to get laid.
Yeah.
Great. So Christmas is approaching and he's scheduled to be on leave for a while. So we make plans to finally meet in person. His flight back to the U.S. landed in Minneapolis a couple days before the end of my semester. So he reserved a hotel room close to campus since I'd still be finishing up my finals for the first couple days of his visit. I remember him coming to pick me up from my dorm in a cab and that we greeted each other with a kiss that was nice.
Oh, a meh.
No fireworks or anything, but I don't have anything bad to say about it either. So again, my brain whispered, yeah, he'll do. Go for it.
He'll do.
Go for it. Exactly.
That'll do.
That'll do, pig. That'll do. I don't remember a lot about the rest of that day. I think we had dinner before we went to his hotel room. We pre-discussed that I wanted to lose my virginity to him, so we got right to it.
All right.
He was actually very kind and gentle, and as
nice.
far as first times goes, I think mine was pretty decent.
Oh, good.
That's
sweet. That's the best you can ask for in that scenario, honestly.
The next day, I left early-ish in the morning to take my last 2 finals, and we made arrangements for him to meet me outside my dorm building afterward because we were going to drive to small-town Minnesota for the weekend so I could meet his parents.
Shut it down.
Like,
No.
hi, so I just fucked your son.
I know. It was
Just
okay.
lost my
It was okay.
virginity.
It was decent.
It's fine. It's fine.
fine.
This is fine.
I mean, you lost your virginity. You didn't expect it to be like the best.
I know, yeah. I don't know. Some people put like butterflies and bows on it. It seems like she was
get it.
going at it in like a
Very
very
practical.
practical way, which
She's a
I
little
love.
older, which I appreciate because
Yeah.
that's when you are like a little bit more mindful. Of
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, this is what's happening.
My virginity story.
Same.
After sliding around on snowy, slippery back roads for close to
Oh.
2 hours, we approached his parents' house, which is at the end of a long dirt road out in the country.
Oh no.
Let's start listing off all the redneck house, not in a trailer park stereotypes. Let's
Oh, no.
see
Oh, no.
how many match up.
All right.
What do you think?
Checklist.
All right. I want to know, do they have a vehicle out front that is
On
not
blocks.
operational?
On blocks.
Yes.
Yep.
Do they have a couch on the porch?
Ooh, it doesn't say.
Oh.
We've got at least 80 years old, hadn't been painted since it was built. I
Okay.
think it might have been yellow once upon a time.
Okay.
Ah.
The yard was mostly dead weeds.
Yep.
Sure.
It's winter.
Scattered around the yard, partially hidden by weeds, were several vehicles and
Yep.
various farm equipment.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
visible hole in the roof,
Oh.
2 pit bulls hanging out on the porch.
In
Next-
winter?
Yes.
In Minnesota?
Yes.
Someone take those dogs.
I know. 10 yards closest to the house was mostly bare dirt with several toys. That is total like redneck. The little tykes like play.
Right. There's a
pen
playpen
and
that
stuff.
has
Oh.
that's like falling apart and
This all just
faded.
makes me sad, though.
Yes.
I mean,
Backyard,
Yeah, no, I'm not like this is not
This is not
class
yeah.
judging. at
Yeah,
all.
but it's.
But you know
it's tough.
exactly. We've all been to these houses.
Yep.
You know exactly what
Yep.
you're walking into.
Yeah,
essentially.
exactly.
Yeah.
So they get out of the car and head inside where around a dozen adults plus some additional indeterminate number of children are waiting in the living room to welcome Joe home. The next 24 hours, she's there overnight.
Too many hours.
Are some of the most awkward and uncomfortable of my entire life. His dad immediately starts making sexual jokes.
Yes. What did we say, Christina? We are in the middle of Cold, the podcast.
I know, and it's so awkward.
It is
Like,
so gross. It is so
Dad's
gross.
making those
This
inappropriate.
is now a too far.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Now I'm
okay,
not. Now I'm not feeling bad.
Can we talk about like older men? I don't know. I think this generation is dying off or moving on or whatever.
Fingers
but like,
crossed.
but there being a thing. I remember being a kid and being like, you know, go give your fucking
No.
Uncle Charlie a kiss. He's not my uncle. He's like a friend of the family, an
Nope.
older man.
Nope.
And them always making things like, oh, you're filling out nicely. Or, like, you're gonna
Ugh.
be pretty. Gross.
What is
Stop
that?
doing that to
Fucking
kids.
disgusting.
Here are some of his jokes.
Oh,
Where'd
no.
you find her, Joe? She's a lot prettier than the strippers down at Roxy's. Damn, honey, you've got some sexy lips. I hope my boy is putting those to good use.
I'm gonna throw up.
She goes, there are no words. I was mortified and completely out of my depth. I had no idea how to talk to these people, so I retreated to the room where the kids were hanging and played with the kids. I heard Joe telling his dad to take it easy on me, and his dad responding, gotta make sure she could take it.
Oh
I
no!
hate you. I hate you. And also, your fucking mom is there. I
Yes.
assume.
The
How
whole
does that
family.
make your fucking
She said there were a
mom
bunch
feel?
of adults.
How does that make your mom? Like, not only are you making this poor girl super uncomfortable, but this poor
Disgusting.
mom has had to live with just
That's-
decades of that kind of fucking behavior from her husband. Like, fuck you.
Ugh.
So she goes on to say that she has an extremely awkward dinner and then she excuses herself to bed. Joe showed me to our room, but immediately left to spend more time with his family. He came up and woke her up and they had like drunkenly awful sex. But being new to sex, she didn't know herself well enough to know how to, one, say no, or two, truly enjoy it. So she faked it. The only way that she knew how to do it was from porn, so she made noise, like a lot of it.
Oh,
Definitely
no.
more than I should have, especially because I found out the next morning his parents' bed was directly on the other side of the wall.
Oh my god, I can feel. I feel
My
for
face
her.
is hot.
I
My
feel
face
for
is
her
hot.
so much right
My face is
now.
fucking hot.
Like that is. I get that. I get that, and that feels fucking terrible.
Do you want to know how she found out about how close the parents'
Shut
bed
up.
is?
No, I'm so uncomfortable.
As I'm putting together a plate of food for
Oh, no.
breakfast,
Oh, no.
right alongside the rest of his family,
Oh no!
his dad saunters in and proclaims loudly,
No.
so someone in this room really, really enjoys getting laid while smiling and winking at me.
No.
I'm gonna throw up.
The entire
I'm gonna
room
throw
turns
up.
and looks at me. Thankfully, I had to leave later that morning in order to catch a flight to visit my folks for the holidays. And I never saw Joe again after he dropped me off at the airport. I broke up with him less than a week later. I mean, yeah, I was 19 and dumb, but I wasn't that dumb. There's no way I was going to have these people as in-laws.
Oh my god!
I'm like hot.
I'm
horrified. Sweaty.
I'm
Horrified.
horrified. That is
the worst.
terrible. What kind of monster? Like, what kind of person?
Again, porn raised us.
Racist, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Oh my god, that's just so awkward.
I'm very upset right now.
Well, and
I would want to
here's
melt
what- here's
into the
what
wall.
I thought too. I was just like, she might not know the floor layout of the house.
He did.
But he does.
And
he
he could be
knows
like,
his parents' bedroom is right.
No, because he didn't give a fuck. Well, you're raised by that guy.
Yeah.
So there's probably a lot of pride
Oh,
in fucking
God.
like
So
getting
gross.
laid.
I
Like
know.
that's disgusting.
That's so gross.
You guys, it's so gross.
Okay.
All right. So are you guys ready?
I
Yes.
am. You have been building
I know.
this up.
I know you really
for
have. I'm on the edge of my
days now.
seat.
I'm
feel like-
so excited. It better be fucking
Oh, no, don't put that kind of pressure
amazing.
on
I know. I
her.
feel super pressure now because I
She's
have been hyping
scared.
it. The problem
Yeah.
is that anytime any of us do this, the problem is that we do a lot of research.
Mm-hmm.
And I know for myself, specifically on this one, I've watched 2 documentaries. I watched an interview with this person. I have read, I can't even count the number of articles and because there's not that many articles available. I feel like I've literally scoured
found
the
all of
internet
it.
and I think that I have all of it.
You've tapped it out.
shit.
All right.
So
All
the
right.
problem is that it's like now that I have all the information, I'm like, how do I deliver it? So I think I'm just going to try to dive in and go through the motions as I've seen them presented. That's the funniest thing about it, right? Is like, so you see all these things and all this information, you see them presented in different ways.
You have to try and find the way that you like the best because you
Yeah.
can start either at the beginning, you can start at the murder, you can
Right.
start or whatever the
Incident.
inciting
I feel,
incident.
honestly, like this podcast is making me a better storyteller.
Yes,
You're a
absolutely.
great
You're a
storyteller.
great storyteller.
That's why it's always so much pressure on me because I feel like I love the research of it. I do. In fact, I'm like the person in school. I couldn't write a story to save my life, but I could write a research paper.
book report from Cassie.
So I'm going to start here.
Okay.
On October 28th, 1962, on the Calcasieu River, Felix Vail and his wife Mary Horton Vail are out night fishing.
Oh
Do you know the story?
my God.
It's so fucking good.
I know this story.
Okay. I was like, I don't know if you'll know. It's very recent. A lot of this came out within the last couple years.
Okay, so I'm going to say this before you get started. Have you listened to the True Crime Garage episode on
No,
this?
I specifically looked to find a podcast that did it and I didn't find
because
it.
True Crime Garage did one where they interview the woman who like broke the case or whatever.
Well,
Oh,
so
shit.
there's a lot of levels to that.
Yes,
because
so we'll get
technically-
to that. But like they interview the woman who like went in and talked to him, and like she has
First-hand account,
and she
a tape.
has tapes
because she put a recorder in
because
her
she
bra.
went in with a recording device in her bra.
Oh,
And she actually worked with the not detective, the this was all kind of broken by a investigative
She's a
journalist.
yeah.
And they worked together
With the private investigator.
with the private investigator to kind of bring this guy down.
Sorry, I
So,
will.
I actually don't mind that because I actually
Mom's
think
words.
that I think it's layered, right? Because the thing is that he only just recently has gotten.
It's crazy.
So
this one's
has
great.
All come to
Great.
justice. At any rate, so again, October 28th, 1962, they're on the Calcasieu River night fishing. It's a kind of small community outside of Lake Charles.
Okay.
Which, by the way, one of our Patreon people is from Lake Charles, which I would like literally
Where-
asked her. I was
where's
like, "How
Lake
do you?"
Charles?
It's in Louisiana. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And I was like double checked with her. I was like, "How do you pronounce this?" And she phonetically was like Calcasieu River. I was like, "I love it."
Yay.
So yes, so shout out to Michelle. Okay, so at any rate, they're out night fishing, and they are. The story is that he comes back into town and goes to the police station and tells the police that they were out night fishing and that he had hit or he had seen a log. His wife had seen a log. He swerved to miss it. She fell out of the boat. Right. I actually watched an interview with him and he talks about what happened. And it's funny because he doesn't mention that, but it's his story. You know, when you hear people tell stories and you're like, I feel as though you're giving me too many details.
Yes.
And that's the
sign of
surefire
lying.
way
Yes.
to know someone's lying.
You're
It's
for
like,
sure lying to me because
Yeah.
why the fuck do I need to know like all of these like
that you went north. I
inconsequential-
think it was north. It was up the river and then this. And it's just like,
Because if that really happened to you, you'd be so fucking panicked that you'd be like, oh, we were on the river and then like we hit something and then like she fell out and then I tried to find her and I couldn't find her and I thought maybe if I could come back here, you guys could go look for her. That's what you would say.
I'm the worst at like remembering like if you were like, what'd you do yesterday?
oh shit.
Go through your whole day yesterday. Do you know how long it would take me to like remember
Same.
things
All
and
the
stuff?
details.
And
yeah.
I wouldn't have like any details whatsoever.
Sure.
That's just not how my memory works.
You know, this
I mean, I guess
interview
this
is
is
also
traumatic.
56 years later, so he's had a long time to think about all the details he wants to put in, I'm sure.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
So there's a lot to it. So at any rate, Felix Vail meets Mary Horton Vail when he's 20 years old. In 1961, they marry. There's in one of the documentaries I watched, some old sorority friends of hers. It's so funny because like these old sorority friends, you kind of are like, girl, as you sip tea, listening to it, it's kind of like the ladies are like, well, we just never really liked him that much. We can't say why. We just didn't like him very much. You're like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And one of the sorority sisters does say that she, that when Mary was living with them in the dorms, one of the things that she always used to say was that she had this intuition, this impression, this idea that she was going to die by drowning at a very young age. And
Mary did?
Mary used to say this.
Oh, shit.
So, which was one of the things that they immediately brought up because they're like, there's no fucking way this woman would be out on the river with anybody at any time of night because she was frightened. She had a fear of water.
Yeah.
Like it's, yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Chills.
I know. Also, too, the other very suspicious thing that happens at this time is that Felix had just taken out a double indemnity insurance policy for them on his 22-year-old wife.
Okay. Yeah. So he did it.
And case closed.
Case closed. Goodbye.
He says in his interview that the insurance was totally a coincidence, that he had bought it because they were going to go to Acapulco on a second honeymoon,
fuck you.
which had never been booked and no one knew anything about.
Yeah.
So, shock.
Yep.
And I'm sorry, I've gone on vacations before. I'm not like, hey, we're going to Mexico. Like, maybe take out a life insurance policy on me.
At 22.
Just in case.
Just
in
in
case.
case.
What? Be safe.
Was that a thing people did in the
No,
60s?
it's not.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, though? To be fair, there was that one story of they used to sell insurance in the airport.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, they used to sell in vending machines
Yeah,
at the airport.
at the airports.
But that's different than having like a $25,000 or whatever dollar life insurance policy.
This is also, too, a double indemnity life insurance policy, which, you get, it's like, if you die of a accidental death, that's, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Shady.
Side eye
AF.
suspicious.
So one of the other things that the police were really, really looking into that made them even more suspicious is that there were 2 life jackets in the boat. Felix had been wearing one and Mary wasn't wearing one. And Felix's response to that was that they had just had a baby. So they had just had their first baby, Bill, and that she was breastfeeding and that her breasts were tender from breastfeeding, and that's why she wasn't wearing it.
So this woman who's afraid of water went out in the middle of the night on a river with no life jacket on. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems
totally
Seems
legit.
totes legit.
completely
How
right.
did this guy think of all this stuff? This is sociopathic.
Because he
It's
waited a
so
long time to go to the
fucking
police.
Crazy.
He had tons of time to
Well,
didn't he?
No, he went right to the
Oh, no,
police.
he went right to- I'm
he-
sorry.
So they actually, so that's the thing. Investigators are like immediately suspicious, but they go out into the river. They actually hire and ask the local community to help out. So there's fishermen, there's, local boaters. Everybody is out on the river looking for Mary's body. And when they find Mary's body, it is, they actually do arrest Felix, but they really are like, at this point, they're like, well, this could have been an accident. Maybe he was out there drinking. Maybe they were having fun. Maybe he was
And he
driving
came
too
to us
fast.
right away,
Maybe it was an
so-
accident. Maybe it was an accident. Maybe it was all these things. Maybe it was an accident. So
Right.
what he goes to jail for and basically pleads guilty to is basically just reckless driving of a boat. And he's let go after 3 days spent in jail.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like if back in the day or whatever, it's not like they had like crazy science or whatever to autopsy to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that it wasn't an accident.
Yeah. And he went to the police right away.
I'm giving nothing away until later.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Go
All
ahead.
right. All right.
So Felix decides, because again, the community now is also suspicious of this. They're like,
Yeah.
okay, whatever. And so at this point, they're like, he says in his interview, he's like, that might have been the reason that caused me to move away from this community. He has a son, but he's like, I don't want to be in a place where everybody thinks I killed my wife. relatable.
Understandable.
Okay. Makes
He
sense.
goes back to Mississippi where he's from and to move in with his family, his parents. Felix takes Bill, that's his son, back there to live with them. And he is
A baby Bill.
Well,
I'm sorry.
So Felix's real name's William.
Yes,
He
I
goes
know.
by Felix, and so they've named. This is also 1962.
Listen, I understand.
Baby Bill.
I'm just saying.
You don't get Baby Bill?
A child named Bill. It's just such an adult
Gary.
name. Name him Billy. Call him Billy. Don't call
Baby
him Bill.
Bill.
It's weird, isn't it? It's just me.
No, it's totally weird.
So he says at this time, that when he takes his son back, it's his mom that's watching him, and his mom is spoiling the hell out of Bill. And it's kind of making him mad because he's like, this boy is becoming unruly because my mom is spoiling him to death. So he's like, forget this. I'm going to find another place for me to raise my son. So he says in his interview, he claims that because of this spoiling, he starts taking off what he quote says, circling the states around him to find a place to raise his son. Meanwhile, his brother is in.
It's a weird way to do it.
I know.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, his
Strange.
brother is in San Diego because he was in the military, and he decides that that's what he's going to do. He's going to take a trip out to San Diego. He's going to take a trip out to California, check out the California life, and see if this is the place he wants to raise his son. During this time, he says this is the craziest shit in the interview that I thought. He says that he is basically has been in love with hundreds of women. He says he has, quote, interviewed hundreds of applicants, and no one could stand up to Mary.
Fuck you.
Oh no.
Fuck you very much.
That's not a good sign.
What a piece of
That's
shit.
The
not a
way
good
that
sign.
he talks about these other women as though they're applicants to be his next future wife.
It's
Because he's such a
objects. It's
fucking
objects.
prize.
It's what it is.
Oh
it's
my
like,
God.
It's objectifying them. They're not
Yeah.
human.
No.
They're not people.
They're applicants
They're
for a job.
applicants.
They're applicants for a job to be his wife
To
and
please him.
mother to his future or his son, right? So during this time, basically that's kind of, he's almost living like this vagabond life, right? So let's do a little fast forward, because what I'm going to do now is kind of jump forward. I'm going to do a little back and forth jumping because I think it's going to be the best way to tell the story.
I feel like
So-
this is the movie Memento. I'm really
Oh,
excited.
cool. I have lots of tattoos.
Yes.
That's actually
Let's do
reading them now.
Yes.
Awesome. I actually did this story.
She got her
in
notes
tattoos.
tattooed on her
Yeah.
arm.
Love it.
All right. So 30 years after this,
Mm-hmm.
Mary's brother, Will, gets a call from a stranger. This woman says that her daughter has married a man named Felix Vail, and she has gone missing, and she thinks, and she also knows that she's gone missing, and she believes that Felix may have killed your sister.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Heavy.
Yeah.
So the woman's name is Mary Rose. Mary Rose and her daughter Annette have they were living in
I like that name.
Annette?
Mary Rose. I like Annette and Mary Rose both.
I like Annette. Yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah.
So Annette Craver met Felix when she was 16 years old, and at
Don't
a
like
garage
that.
sale.
Don't like that.
Don't like that at all.
No, because this is also
He's
in
how old?
1981.
So
He is
he's like what,
40,
50?
almost 40 years
Yep,
old.
Jesus.
I definitely don't like that.
Too old.
So at
Ugh.
At 17 years old, she goes to her mother, Mary Rose, and says, I am going to marry this guy, Felix. I am in love with him, and if you don't let us get married, we're going to move to Mexico and do it anyway.
Oh.
So, because Mary Rose, this is her only daughter, her daughter Annette's father had passed away a few years prior, and so basically Mary Rose and Annette, all they have is each other.
Right.
And she's like, I don't want to lose you from my life. I love you so much that fine, I will sign all the papers that need to be signed so that you guys can get married, because I want to maintain a relationship with you because I love you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can understand.
Yeah,
That's
it's so
a
relatable. And
heartbreaking
she is-
situation.
I honestly think if there is a true hero in this story, yes, there's this guy who broke it, but this guy wouldn't even know about it if it wasn't for Mary Rose, because Mary Rose is the one who contacted this investigator to look into
Well,
this.
I mean, and there is the private investigator who's also a woman who went in of her own volition and put herself in like
Danger.
very dangerous situation to try and get the details of the story.
By the way,
I feel like I'm
because
loving
I don't-
the woman.
I wasn't able to
aspect.
listen to that, and I wasn't if you don't mind telling a little bit about that at
Yeah,
the end, because
sure.
I would love that, because I
Yeah.
think that will just add to the story. It's the one little piece that I wasn't able to find. I literally Googled,
Yeah, there's
see-
a True Crime Garage episode where they
so mad.
interviewed her, and she also shared not only her videotapes of when she went in, because by the way, he was like
I knew
living
this
in
happened.
a fucking shack.
Yeah.
Like with
An older
nowhere
man,
to
too.
pee, like when he was like old, and so she had to pee at one point, and he's like, well, you can go do it in the yard or whatever. Yeah.
no.
And they also have the tapes of when, oh, never mind, get to that. I don't want to.
Sorry. Okay.
Yes,
So
no.
anyway, so Annette meets Felix. It's 1981. He's almost 40 years old. Threatened to move to Mexico. In 1983, they'll actually get married, though. And at this time, they decide that they're going to move, like, kind of go out on their own. And one of the notes that I had run into as well was that months after Vail married Annette in 1983, she inherited $98,000 from her father's death, which was basically his.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So you got a 17-year-old with $98,000
Yeah.
right now, married to a 40-year-old manipulative
Well,
man.
this was months after they were married, so I'm certain that it's by when she turned 18.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
she
you're
inherits
probably
this
right about that.
$98,000. After she disappeared in 1984, he told the Tulsa police that she took half of that money with her to Mexico, and that the 2 deeds on the homes she turned over to him. So the missing part, where does she go missing? So Mary Rose has had constant communication with her daughter up until this point, and they had been talking back and forth via mail, via letters, and had constant contact. They start
This poor
losing touch,
woman.
and the tone of the letter starts to change, almost to like almost kind of pushing her mother away, and a very odd tone to these letters. And they start to lose touch, and communication basically then goes completely cold.
This breaks my heart. I think it's a little bit of the guilt that I feel sometimes for being so far away from my mom and dad that, I think about like
What they must go through.
what they
not
must
hearing you.
go through, like not hearing or thinking, did I mess up by saying something wrong? And now
Aw.
then I'm just like, I can't even.
You're calling your mom as soon as this episode's
I
over.
know. I'm
Mommy.
like,
Terry.
Terry, please, I love you.
So when the communication falls off, she calls the house. Felix answers and said that Annette had a dream. She woke up and wanted to leave. He says that he put her on a bus to Mexico because she just decided that after this dream,
You put your
she went-
18-year-old wife on a bus to Mexico because she had a dream.
Terry,
you know.
Terry Connor would have none of that.
No, my mom
Well,
either.
Mary Rose
Neither did
did
Mary
not have-
Rose.
Mary Rose had none of that
Here's
either.
to strong moms.
Terry Connor would be
'cause-
like, she'd literally be on the next bus.
Yeah,
She'd be
my
like,
mom would be
what?
like, first of all, fuck you. I'm going to
Fuck you
figure
very
this
much.
out.
Well, the problem is this, because she goes to the Tulsa Police Department and she files a missing persons report, but with no foul play, there isn't much she can do. There's no body.
Yep.
There's no. I mean,
That's the same thing in the case I was talking about last time. It's like with no body, they're just like, it's impossible.
this is like 1984.
Yeah.
It's not like they have. I mean, hell, he could have had a receipt for a bus ticket. I mean, he could have had anything. It's not like they had, CCTV.
Right.
It's not like they're,
Forensics.
Again, there's no bodies.
Right.
There's no bodies to even have
I'm
forensics
about to
on.
overturn this table.
I know.
right
Don't
now.
flip the tape by my claws on here.
You're like, I'm sorry, party foul. There's a drink on here.
Yeah, but he just insists, and he tells the police, he's like, she just took off. This is love of my life. This is my wife.
I'm so heartbroken.
Yeah, she
Guess I
just
need
took
half of
off.
her money.
Yeah. But after 7 years of this, Mary Rose is not fucking having it. She decides to track down Felix's family. She reaches out to this woman, Sue Jordan, who is Felix's sister. And when she has this discussion with Sue Jordan, she informs Mary Rose that he had also had another girlfriend in the 70s that had also gone missing, and that his first wife had also died.
This is some
Wow.
fucking Robert Durst shit. This is like the
It is.
jinx.
Yeah.
It is.
So fast forward, I mean, this is like, again, a decade after this woman's gone missing. So this is like in the 1990s, 1994 or so.
Right.
Mary reaches out to then Will's the brother. So we're now going back to, again, 30 years after Mary dies, Mary Vail dies.
Mhm.
Mary Rose reaches out to Will, and sends Mary Rose to Bill's son. Basically, Will, Mary's sister, Mary Vail's sister, is like, I was a teenager at the time. I was young. I didn't really, no one talked about it in the family.
Right.
This was like something that we always were told that this was an accident. And that's kind of almost how it was left. Even though people were very suspicious of foul play, at some point, I think you as a family are going to have to I think you let it go. And as much as you want to believe that maybe that's not true, at some point you just have to heal.
Well, I think
and
also
so they don't know and they don't talk about it.
You run up against a lot of roadblocks. I think that there's you want to do something about it. You know that it doesn't smell right. It's not right. But as an everyday kind of a layman person, there's really only so much that you can do.
Right.
I think where we see a lot of movies and TV shows and podcasts where it's just and then I took it into my own hands and I made it happen. Yeah. But it's so much easier said than done. It's so 100%. Difficult to be able to do that.
That's why to me, again, Mary Rose is the hero.
Yeah.
When I talk about this, there's lots of heroes in the story, but Mary Rose is the one that keeps us talking about it. And if it wasn't for her, none of these people, this woman wouldn't have investigated. This investigative reporter wouldn't have done shit.
Yep.
None of this would have happened without her being persistent.
That's really the key.
And actively looking and trying to figure out a case literally on her own.
Make noise and don't shut up about it is basically the only way to get it to happen. Yeah.
I don't think there's anything stronger in this world than
Motherly
a mother's love for their kid.
Yeah. Roxy Young. Girl.
Yeah.
She would.
So it's I absolutely know that my mom would do the exact same thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, my mom.
She would be hung up on it
Forever.
7 years, 10 years, 20
of course,
years later.
Yeah, no, here's to moms for sure.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. This should be the Mother's Day episode.
Yeah, it should
be.
So,
Bill, the son, is now, in his 30s at this point. He meets with Mary Rose, or he discusses with Mary Rose and tells a story about when he was little, his dad takes him to California. He also mentions that in the 80s when he gets married, that his daughter, or her daughter Annette, was actually at his wedding. So this is all coming together. It's okay, yes, they were together. This is, and there's a lot of explanation going on. He also explains to Mary Rose that he doesn't fucking trust his father as far as he can throw him. He does not. This man is a bad human, and that they will not allow him around his children. This guy is adamantly against and anti his father.
Yeah. Wow. So whenever I was listening to that episode, they talked about Bill and his. Oh, sorry, Cassie's got it.
Maybe. I don't know.
No, go ahead.
But I'm don't take my thunder.
Sorry.
He tells her a story about how when he was younger, his father, went to California.
Yeah.
And he was like, I love California. So he goes back, picks up his son, Bill, with his girlfriend. And this girlfriend is Sharon Hensley. And so he and his girlfriend, Sharon Hensley, go out to pick him up in Mississippi. They take him to California. Well, they're living, again, kind of a vagabond life. They're not living anywhere. They're living off the land wherever they are in these orchards in Northern California. They're like, oh, we're in, we're going to eat grapes today because grapes are what is, we're in this, orchard. This is what we're eating today. Literally living off the land. Uh-huh. His dad is forcing him to smoke marijuana and is forcing him to take LSD. And he overhears his father tell Sharon Hensley that he had killed his mother. He, barefoot, makes a mile-long hike to the sheriff's department and goes to the sheriff and it says, my dad's forcing me to smoke marijuana and take LSD.
Wow.
So at this time, he's also saying, he's arrested, and instead of taking the heat for it, guess whose fault this is?
Oh, no.
Sharon Hensley's fault.
Oh, no.
So this girlfriend at the time is apparently the one who's causing all this trouble, right? Oh, so Mary Rose is like, okay, obviously Bill doesn't believe it, and he knows, and he's putting it out there this is, my dad's a fucking horrible human. This is totally his fault. And by the way, Sharon Hensley's missing as well.
Oh, well.
So Mary Rose contacts the Hensley family. They live in North Dakota, so it's a small community, and so she just looks it up in the yellow pages and finds a Hensley family. She reaches out to Sharon's brother, and Sharon's brother tells a story about when he and his mother were young and they were shopping at a grocery store. This story, I was like, well, this is crazy. They're shopping at a local grocery store and they're in line to pay for their groceries. And mom's flipping through a National Enquirer and she opens up this article about a little boy who was found in the valleys of California eating off the land, forced to take LSD. Here is a picture of Felix and her daughter. He said they literally walked right out of the grocery store, didn't pay for any of their groceries, got on the phone immediately, called to California. She got on a plane the very next day to go to California to bail her daughter out of jail. And by the time she gets there, she says that Peggy is the mom. She said she immediately heads to California. But when she gets there, Sharon refuses to leave Felix. She's in love. She refuses to leave him. She's in love.
He's like one of those like Ted Bundy charmer types, isn't he?
Yeah.
Mm.
So then, after some period of time goes by, suddenly, out of the blue, both Sharon and Felix show up at their door. They get a knock on their door, and they just show up randomly out of the blue. This was the last time the family will see Sharon alive.
Mm-hmm.
So
we got 2 missing wives and a missing girlfriend at this point.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, maybe 3.
One dead wife and
one dead wife, one missing wife.
But was it ever even
missing
was it ever
girlfriend.
even confirmed? I mean, like she fell off the boat or whatever.
Yeah,
They never found.
They found her body.
They found the body.
They found her body.
Yeah.
Which we'll come back to because there's actually some information about that as well, which we'll come back to. So I told you this is a long one. Sorry, guys.
No, you're good.
Felix is very controlling. They see that. They leave. Sharon, again, missing. And that was the last they saw of her. 3 months later, Felix sends a letter to Sharon's mom, Peggy, that says that Sharon had met an Aussie couple when they were on their way back from a trip. They met in Key West, and she decided that she wanted to go sailing with them and left with them to go sailing, and she has no idea how to contact her.
Wow.
Yeah. So Peggy tries to reach out to the police, of course, because she doesn't believe anything, and she suspects foul play, of course. But again, nothing anybody can do because it's no body.
It's the 80s.
And
again, you can literally kill anyone you want.
The 80s should be put on trial.
No repudiation.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
you could be like, yeah, she went over there. And
they're like, okay.
Awesome.
You're a man, so we trust you.
Well, and again, there's no body. So what do you do? Like, what can you do?
Yeah.
So anyway, once Mary Rose learns of all of this, she takes all of this to the police. The police again say there's no body, nothing they can do. So she ends up in 2011. She's listening to this show that she likes, and it's about this investigative reporter who had broke open wide this case that he'd been discovering. And she's like, I'm going to reach out to this guy. This guy's name is Jerry Mitchell. She calls Jerry Mitchell and she's like, I have a story. Would you be interested in writing a story about this case? Because I think this person has killed no less than 3 women.
And honestly, this woman is a hero because she compiled all this information before internet, before Facebook, before like all this stuff. This took some real
she couldn't Facebook these people. She had to look them up in a phone book and call them. Yeah.
So kudos, man.
Yeah. Before that happens, though, in 2009, Bill, the son, dies of cancer. But before he dies, he has gone on to a podcast with a church group of his and has a talk with his pastor, which in the message that he records with this pastor, according to these tapes, it says that he heard his dad say that he killed his mom. He also goes into the, suspicion behind these missing women. Mm-hmm. So he pretty much lays it out. He's like, before I die, I'm going to tell you this and get it off my chest. This is all the shit that happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
So Jerry Mitchell writes this whole article about it, and it's called Gone. He publishes it, and so after it's published, all these people start to come to the surface in Lake Charles. So one of them is a guy that comes forward that says that Felix, when he used to work with him at the time when Mary died, said that he had bragged to him about how he had killed his wife. Another man, Isaac, had said that it was his boat that they brought Mary up on board. They found him. It was his boat. They had brought the body on board his boat. He, when Jerry went to meet with him, had an envelope that literally just said across it, like, save. Like, and it was with glossy pictures of Mary being pulled out of the river that no other images were found, right? So when Jerry went to go look for police investigative, like the background, like what had the investigation, there are no records to be found. There are no pictures to be found. There's only the autopsy report, which says it's an accidental death. The end. That's it. That's all that's there. So this is like a dead wide, like, holy shit, we have something. Because guess what the pictures show? The pictures don't just show a woman that drowned in a river. The pictures show a woman who has a contusion on the back of her head and has a scarf shoved down her throat.
Yep.
It's not accidental.
Doesn't happen on accident. You don't fall into a scarf.
You're
Falling into the water.
Oops a daisy.
And I hit my head.
Yeah.
Oh no.
In the back of my head. Yeah, it's so. And so the thing was too is that what Felix tries to say after all of this too is that, oh well, she probably got bruises from being in the river, and they were like, you don't bruise after you die.
Right.
You get bruises before death.
Yeah. Pre-mortem.
So the investigators basically at this point are just saying, the ME is concluding this is not an accidental drowning. This is an actual death. There is a lot of, like you said, this woman who investigates. I don't know if you want to go into that a little bit, because I do know that there was a woman who goes, basically finds him.
So there's an investigative, a private eye who, like, there was either a book or was that article or it was something that was written
Gone is the article.
She had like listened to, and she was just like, as a private eye who was bored, I think, and she was like, I'm gonna go see, because I know that he lives close to here.
In Texas.
So she like drove by. And he was living in basically like a storage unit. It was like a building, but it didn't have any like plumbing or anything like that. It was basically like a shed. He was like living in a shed. And I don't remember what pretense. I'll try and find the episodes of True Crime Garage so that you can listen to them if you want to. But like, she basically found some kind of pretense to go inside, and she was like, yeah, I wore like a low cut. She's like a badass lady. She's like, you gotta do what you gotta do. So yeah, like went in there with like my tits out and like with a recording device in my bra, and just started talking to him and essentially befriended him. So she would go over like every week and like talk to him, and she has all these tapes of him talking. And she was like,
God.
She says a few times, she's like, the only times I ever felt, normally he was just like this frail old man that was like a little weird.
Yeah.
But on more than one occasion, she's like, on one time, I remember specifically, I brought up something to do with one of his wives, and she's like, it's the only time I ever felt scared being alone with him, because she said that thing happened where his eyes went black like a shark.
Wow.
And he like basically went real cold, and she's like, I'm a big woman, I'm a big girl, and like he's like a frail old man, and in that moment I was afraid. Like I could take him easily, but I was afraid.
Yeah, his demeanor is very, very questionable. So to hurry up to the end real quick, because I know we're going to kind of running out of time. May 17th, 2016, in Canyon Lake, Texas, Felix is arrested for second-degree murder. He pleads not guilty. 3 men testify that they had heard him kill his wife, and this 90-year-old Isaac, who has these pictures, also testifies. I mean, it's the craziest thing.
And also in that True Crime Garage episode, she has recordings of, she went to visit him in the in prison and like talked to him, and was just like, well, what about the scarf? Like, what about these things? And you can hear him getting like argumentative with her, because it's the first time where she's really felt like she can, there's glass between them. So it's the first time she's really felt like she can like kind of call him out on shit.
Right. Yeah.
And you hear her getting like argumentative with him about like his shit, and he's trying to deflect.
I can't wait to listen to this. Okay.
Yeah.
So just to let everybody know where I did get all this digging, I went to, there was a show by People Investigates. There were tons of articles by People. There were tons of articles that I read online. One of the documentaries was from KCRW? No, LC, Lake Charles. KCLC did a expose kind of thing, and that's where I saw the interviews with him directly. But so back to the arrest and the trial. The judge allows something that's called the doctrine of chances. The doctrine of chances basically says how many people can end up dead or presumed dead in the presence of one single person.
Yep.
And so that allows them to use that Annette's and Sharon's disappearance to be admitted in the trial. The trial lasts 5 days of testimony and eyewitnesses, and the jury deliberates for 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
Like,
They're like, no,
And
we know. This guy fucking did that shit.
they come back with a guilty life in prison sentence, and he has appealed, but nothing has come of it. And apparently after his last appeal, he was actually served with hard labor. So this man was 77 years old. He was the oldest, what they're considering the oldest suspected serial killer to be convicted. Also, too, Vail is also a person of interest in multiple California cold case murders.
Well,
So-
yeah, you were saying he was like traveling around while he's quote unquote looking for a suitable place for him and his son to move.
And his applicants.
Right. I mean, and when they talk about that in that episode, they talk about how like he's living this vagabond lifestyle, but he's kind of like giving in completely to like the hippie lifestyle culture, counterculture, which thus the LSD and all the pot, but also what plays into that is he was kind of like a ladies' man. Like he, that whole
He was good looking. He looked the part.
He was good looking, and it was like that free love era where he just kind of hooked up with lots of young
And
women constantly
people
throughout
were
California.
hitchhiking and
So
living
I have
off
no
the
doubt
land.
that he's guilty of more murders.
Well,
than
that's
that.
like that Samuel Little
Oh,
guy that
God.
confessed to like 90
Yeah.
murders. It's like in the 70s and 80s, if
You
you
get away
were,
with it.
you can get away with it.
Yeah.
You can absolutely get away with it.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
yeah.
in the end, this motherfucker didn't get away with it.
Shout
I mean, for
out
a
to
long
Mary
time.
Rose.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
that's all about a
'Cause
mom
that's-
just being like,
Yep.
nope.
You
I-
can't
not
stop
gonna
making
lie.
noise about it. You
Yeah.
can't stop making noise about it because people don't care that much. Like there are so many murders that happen every year. If she had not made as much noise about it as she had, like no one would have paid attention.
Yeah.
They would
Yeah,
just
he
would have
would
been
be
like, oh well.
free.
Well, and
Yeah.
think about maybe like some of these missing women too, who are like, "Oh, my daughter went missing," but they don't have any clue that maybe he was attached. They were attached to a Felix Vail or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know, it'll be interesting to see this. Literally, like the arrest, all that stuff, like his imprisonment. Like I believe it was all in 2006, and
They
more and more
also
keeps coming out
they
about
also
it.
found around the same time
2016. Sorry,
they talked about it like where they found around the same time there was a home that he was renting that had been his home before or whatever, and he was like renting it out, and like a young couple had moved in and they were looking at stuff upstairs and they found a suitcase. I think it was either for Annette, it was for one of them. They found a suitcase that had like her ID in it, her birth control pills, like clothes. And they were like this woman, this private investigator was just like, women don't go places without their birth control pills and their ID.
Yeah.
Like you don't
It's
and their ID, right?
don't
You
leave.
just got on a bus to go to fucking Mexico without your ID and
you
birth
don't do
control.
it.
Okay.
You know, so that was
think so.
they were like, hey, we found this thing that's really suspicious as well.
That's crazy.
I
I've
hope-
never heard of that.
I do hope at this point, like he just comes out and at least says where these poor women
I don't
are.
think he will.
You don't think he
No.
will
I
either?
don't think he will.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Holy
that was
shit. That was a deep
roller
dive.
coaster.
That's
No,
awesome.
It was layers.
That's
Like I
roller
said.
awesome.
coaster. Okay, so if you have any crazy in love stories that you would like us to maybe do a deep dive into, or if you have any bad date stories, we're looking specifically right now for really particularly great ones to do at our live show. So if you have any just like completely hamburger bad date stories, please email those to us at myworstdatepodcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on Instagram at myworstdatepodcast or Twitter at worstdatepod. You can also join our super fun Facebook group that we have a really good time in. So just search Facebook for My Worst Date Podcast and we'll come up.
Yes.
We're everywhere.
Open the door and we're there.
Yes.
Open the door. We're
Open the
We're
door.
actually right outside. Knock,
There
knock.
we are. Hello.
The
Not
call is
creepy at
coming
all.
from inside your house.
Yes, we're standing on your lawn with a boombox right now.
Oh my God, we were just talking shit against that though.
I know.
Oh, we're
in
the
your
worst.
eyes.
We're the worst.
We're the worst.
Literally. Oh, anyway, guys, thanks so much.
And we'll see you next time.
Cheers.
This is a Glass Box Media Podcast.